guys, this is Nate and this is the Nader Tater channel. Alright, I got a cool new product here, and it's both a forward-looking camera for like a dash cam as well as a backup camera. And the coolest thing about it is that it goes in place of your rear view mirror. And when I say that, it doesn't go in place of it, it attaches right to it, so you don't have to remove your current mirror. This one just goes right in front of it basically, so that you can look at this. Now that's a really neat feature that I wanted, because the rest of them, they have a screen, you got to put it somewhere on your dash or on your windshield. That's kind of annoying to me. For this case, I'm actually using this Bobcat Toolcat to put this on. It's made for cars really, but obviously it'll work on any kind of vehicle that has 12-volt power to feed it. So a tractor would work well. For me on this Bobcat, what I really wanted it for is to see back behind me. It's really hard to see behind you because the bed blocks your view, and I have a 3-point attachment that I put on there, and so that's down low and it's hard to see. So that is why I'm putting it on there. And then the other cool thing is that it has the front facing camera, which is 4K resolution, so that I can also record things that I'm working on. And perhaps what I'm interested to see is I might actually be able to get a better viewing angle for hooking up stuff with the front facing camera on here, because that's another drawback to this machine is the passenger front corner. It's hard for me to see sometimes based off the design of it. So we'll get to playing with it. Like I said, the front facing camera is 4K resolution at 30 frames per second. The rear facing one is 1080p at 30 frames per second. And now it has things like HDR, which help bring out the best color and contrast at varying lights. You don't have overexposed and underexposed spots. It also has GPS built in, and it has a shock sensor, so if it detects what it thinks is an accident, it makes sure that it saves that file and locks it so it doesn't get overwritten. Otherwise, you can set it up in a loop mode where it just overwrites all the old ones as the card fills up, so that you always are recording new files to save. And then it also has the backup grid lines to help guide you. And that's something you're going to have to adjust yourself. You know, if you were to put it up high on the window, it wouldn't be right, because the parking red line would probably be somewhere in the bed. So I'll have to play with that on setting that up right. But if I put the camera back here, then it should work correctly. And that's probably the best place to put the rear one is back here. On a car, you would put it like by the license plate, you know, on the trunk or something like that, which is where most of the OEMs are placed. But you could also, if you want an easier install, you could place it on the rear window or the back glass of a sedan, and that's another option as well for it. So it also has an app and Wi-Fi built in, so that you can connect your phone so you can record this stuff. But the whole screen, it's 11-inch widescreen, is touchscreen. And so I'm going to play with that, and we'll see how it works. So let me do a quick install. I won't give you a whole lot of details on how I install it, because probably not a whole lot of people have a Bobcat Toolcat to install it in. But I'll touch on the key points of how it works. So let's just open it up, see what it comes with, and then we will throw it on. And then the most important part, of course, is playing with it to see just how good it is, and see how the files, how big they are, how much recording it does, what quality it is, and all that kind of stuff. All right. Okay, so here is the 11-inch screen, and you know, this is the whole unit, so it's kind of nice. It's not that thick, it's probably, you know, a ½ inch thick or so. And again, it's designed to go right on top of your existing mirror. And then here you can see the front facing camera that is on a little ball mount, so that you can angle it however you need based off of, you know, how you place it for your mirror. And then it has some elastic bands I'll show that go around that go on your existing rear view mirror. All right, so it has microphones built in here. It's got a USB mini port, and then it's got a AV-in, which is for the backup cam, and then it has a GPS port. It also has a micro SD card slot, and mine came with a 64 gigabit SD card, micro SD. So I'm sure that will give me plenty of video recording needs. Now it does do 4K, so it needs to be like a class 10 or better SD card for best compatibility. But there's not a whole lot to this. It looks like it's pretty compact unit, and then obviously I won't take this off, but you know, there behind this plastic film it's kind of like a two-way mirror, where the screen, the LCD screen, is behind it, and when it turns on, it doesn't look like a mirror anymore. Now it's a display screen. But when that camera display is off, then it looks like just a regular mirror. All right, so in the box we have some of these little elastic bands, and this is what hold on the this display to your existing mirror. Then we have a GPS antenna, and this goes on your windshield. So it's just a 3M self-adhesive stick, and then this end plugs into the little device there. Here we have a standard 12-volt cigarette plug with that mini USB cord on the other side that plugs into it. And then we have, this is the backup camera. Then we have a user manual here, which is full color. So it's actually pretty nice, and it's pretty good. You know, this is a product that is made in China, but this user manual, I did read through it. It actually makes sense. There is maybe one or two typos, but besides that, it appears to give pretty clear instructions, and it doesn't leave a whole lot for you to try to interpret or figure out. So then let's pop out this backup cam here. All right, so for attaching it, it comes with 2M double-sided tape, or it has two little screws as well that you could use. And then it's obviously got a long cable here that again plugs into the mirror. So all these devices, the GPS, the power, and the rear view camera all plug into the top of the mirror, and then you feed these wires. Normally you tuck them along the headliner, tuck them along like the A-pillar trim or the door sill, and that's how you can get it either back to the back of the vehicle or down along the windshield and get it to the dash, so you can give it 12-volt power. But this little guy has a simple little mount that is swivel, so you can put it on a vertical surface or a horizontal surface, and there's some little adjustment there to go on. So for most vehicles it should work right out of the box to just sticky it on to something. You just want to make sure you clean that surface really well so that it's good to go. All right, let's see here. So it does look like it has a port. Yes. So this is a little port here so that you can unplug it for feeding the wire through, so you don't have to feed the whole thing. All right, so let's get set up, install it. And obviously I'm not going to attach anything like the rear view camera until I play with it and see what kind of view I get. If I like the view down here underneath the bed looking backwards, I'll probably do that. If not, I'll go up high and go on the top of the back of the cab. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is attach this guy with these little clips. You can see here, it's not that much larger than my existing mirror, at least on this Bobcat. So it's going to go a little bit offset, where there's a little bit of the factory one sticking out because this camera sticks out on the back side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put these little elastic straps over first, so I know that the top side's on, and then I'm going to put it as far to the right as I can get it, and then I'm going to tighten these little straps down. Alright, so that's all there is to it, and then I'm going to take off the little protective cover there. I'll go ahead and take it off this guy as well. Alright, so now we can see out of this guy. So the mirror actually looks really good just by itself. I can see well with it. So that tells me, you know, if the actual camera or something were to go bad or not have power, I still have good visibility, kind of like a normal camera, or sorry, a normal mirror without a camera. Now for me in here, I have this headliner that can pop out fairly easily, but I can also tuck the wire up underneath there and have it follow the door trim just like you would in a car, and you can pull it across the dash and you can plug it into 12 volt or go to a fuse if you wanted to. So this is not a hardwired kit. This one does have to go through this cigarette lighter, but they do sell a kit that you can get that you can hardwire, and you can look at it and you can see it's basically looks like it's just a replacement of the mirror the way it is. But now we need to give it power, so that has its own plug. Now I already did some of the hard work. I popped out the headliner here so I can get to it. I actually have power as part of that headliner, so I'm going to tuck up my 12 volt cord up into here so that it's up and out of the way. But this just plugs into the top here at that mini USB, and then we have our GPS here. So this plugs in to the top of here. Alright, so I'm just going to put this guy where I think it's kind of makes sense. Now obviously you want it to have a clear view of the sky is the ideal case. Okay, and then for my backup cam, I already did that hard work, and so this is it's in, and I routed it back along here along this back B pillar, and it comes out down here. Actually, you probably can't tell, but right there, the tip of my finger is where I have a hole that goes through and out the back. So I'll follow that in a second, but basically you just need to find out where you want to put it. I tried putting the camera up here on the outside, but I ended up putting it all the way in the back, on the back of the bed. So now this one just feeds over here as well. We'll go over to this side. And then this plugs in at the top here as well. Alright. So now I can put that headliner piece back in, and then we'll power it up and see how it does. Alright, so now I'm outside here. I'm just going to clean up this wire, run it out, right out here out of the cab. And so there's a couple places that I can just kind of piggyback onto to attach. So I'm just trying to route it, keep it away from moving stuff and hot stuff. So this guy I'm routing here, and then I'm going to put it right around this hinge. That way it doesn't get pinched. Alright, so this red wire is actually a signal to put on the reverse camera on the mirror. And so they tell you to hook it up to the reverse lights. This machine doesn't have reverse lights. There is a reverse switch there. I'm sure I could figure it out, but you can just manually do it, or I'm actually kind of planning on doing half and half front view, half rear view. So the point is, I guess this is optional. So I'm not going to use it. I'm going to tie it away in case something changes instead of just cutting it super short. But it's not needed, and it's not sending 12 volts to it or anything. It just it's a signal. So that's going to be there. Let's get the camera here. Alright, so the camera, I put a little mount right here. I drilled a hole into the bed here, and then I put a little angle bracket that I had just sitting around, and that's what I'm going to mount this camera to, and it's out of the way of the bed and the tailgate, and it looks like it should fit well there. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so now I have it mounted right here in the center of the back, and I can obviously adjust it up and down once I play with the view. Look on the back side, you can see I put a couple zip tie anchors out there, and it goes over to this hinge. And again, I've added some silicone self-fusing tape to this connector to help make it waterproof, and then I added a short little thing of conduit just to help with abrasion as it goes over that. It shouldn't have a lot of relative movement because this whole hinge moves with the wire, but just did that just for a little bit of protection. So you can see here the camera's tucked in inside there, and it is all protected. So let's look at the view of it. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this mirror so that it is where I want it with it off, so that if I don't want to have it plugged in or on, it acts like a normal mirror for me. And then now I will power it on. Alright, so now we're looking at the back. You can see it automatically starts recording. So whenever it powers on, it automatically starts the recording. But I can slide it. So here you can slide it up and down. So obviously this screen is skinnier than a 16:9. So this is the full view of the camera, and you can adjust it live to see how where the optimal is without even moving the camera back there. But it records the whole 16:9. So even though it only displays this portion, it's recording the whole thing. And this backup cam is 1080p. Which obviously is plenty good here. And then over here on this side, I can change the brightness. I have it set on auto bright. Now I have both the front and the rear view at the same time, and it's recording both as well. But now I can also keep going across, and now I'm looking at just the front. And again, you can do the same thing with the front, where you can adjust how high or low it's looking. Okay, so this camera, how it's crooked there, you can adjust that. The ball, it's a little bit hard to adjust it, but this thing does rotate. All right, so it took a couple times to get it to rotate just where I wanted it, so it looks like it's level when my rearview mirror is level. But again, I can look up and down, so I actually want to be able to look a little bit more down there. So for that, I'm going to have to adjust the mirror slightly. Alright, so I'm going to have it looking all the way down. And then I want to have part of it be on the rear. So swiping from the far side over, this is what it's going to do. So this is what I think I want to drive around like.